The name Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria always struck me as a bit odd, but I couldn't deny the strange allure it held over me. The very first time I stepped through its doors, I was immediately captivated by the tantalizing aroma of freshly baked pizza and the lively, upbeat tunes emanating from the show stage. The animatronics, with their gleaming metallic bodies and expressive, if somewhat unsettling, features, held a particular fascination for me. My friends and parents, on the other hand, found them rather creepy, even frightening, but to me they were like magical creatures brought to life by some unknown sorcery. Despite my parents' limited financial means, I managed to visit Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria on occasion, and each time I was transported into a world of wonder and excitement. The games, the food, and above all, the captivating performances on stage filled me with an indescribable joy. I yearned to understand the secrets behind the animatronics' lifelike movements and captivating personalities. One fateful day, after the final show of the evening, I noticed a solitary figure seated at a table in the far corner of the pizzeria. He wore a staff t-shirt and was engrossed in a slice of pizza. Something about this man, whom I later learned was named Will, exuded an air of knowledge and mystery. I approached him hesitantly, my heart pounding with anticipation. "Excuse me, mister," I stammered. "Do you work here?" "Indeed I do," he replied with a warm smile, his eyes twinkling with amusement. "What do you do?" I asked eagerly. "I play Yellow Bonnie," he answered, his voice laced with a hint of pride. My eyes widened in disbelief. "You mean you're the one who makes Yellow Bonnie come to life?" Will chuckled softly. "That's right, little one. I'm the puppeteer behind the mask." Overwhelmed with excitement, I bombarded Will with questions about the animatronics, their mechanisms, and the magic that brought them to life. He patiently answered each one, his enthusiasm mirroring my own. As the pizzeria prepared to close, Will made a startling proposition. "If you're truly interested in learning more about the animatronics," he said, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper, "come back after the last show tonight, and I'll show you something special." I couldn't contain my excitement. I managed to convince my parents to stay for the final performance, knowing that the real adventure would begin once the pizzeria emptied. After the final curtain call, I slipped away from my parents' watchful eyes and sought out Will. I found him in the same spot, waiting for me. "Follow me," he instructed, leading me through a labyrinth of dimly lit hallways. We eventually arrived at a door marked "Employees Only." Will opened the door with a flourish, revealing a hidden workshop filled with an assortment of tools, spare parts, and animatronic components. In the center of the room stood Foxy, the pirate animatronic, his mechanical body frozen in a mid-step. "I've been working on some technical issues with Foxy's circuits," Will explained. "Come closer and I'll show you how it works." I cautiously approached Foxy, my heart pounding with anticipation. Will carefully removed Foxy's face and chest plate, revealing the intricate network of wires, servos, and gears that powered his movements. I peered into the exposed inner workings, mesmerized by the complexity and ingenuity of the design. But as I delved deeper, a strange, unsettling feeling began to creep over me. The sight of the sharp metal teeth, the maze of wires, and the cold, lifeless eyes filled me with an inexplicable dread. Suddenly, Will's demeanor changed. His eyes darkened, and a sinister grin spread across his face. He reached out and grabbed my arm, his grip like iron. I struggled to break free, but his grip was too strong. He dragged me towards Foxy's open chest cavity, his eyes gleaming with a malevolent light. "Welcome to the family, Foxy," Will hissed, his voice dripping with venom. "Try not to break down this time." Before I could react, Will shoved me into Foxy's chest, the sharp metal teeth closing around me like a vice. I was trapped, entombed within the animatronic's lifeless body. Will sealed me in, replacing Foxy's face and chest plate, leaving me alone in the darkness. I was powerless, a prisoner within Foxy's cold, metallic embrace. As the days turned into weeks, I became one with Foxy. His pain was my pain. His fear was my fear. I watched from within. Having to work the night shift at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza was not something I ever imagined doing, but desperate times demanded desperate measures. My name is Mike, and I had heard all the rumors about this location, including the animatronics that moved on their own, the eerie laughter that echoed in the night, and the enigmatically disappearing night guards in the past. Despite the unsettling tales, I accepted the job because I needed the money. The manager, Mr. Smith, smiled at me when I arrived on my first night. He led me into the security office, a dimly lit space with a single desk, several monitors, and little else. Airborne was the lingering aroma of stale pizza. Mr. Smith said to me, his voice quiet, "Here's the deal, Mike. You'll be here from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. It's your responsibility to watch the cameras, ensure that the animatronics remain in their proper locations, and prevent them from getting close to the office." Trying to keep my anxiety under wraps, I responded, "Got it." Mr. Smith left as the clock struck 12, leaving just the hum of the security apparatus and me. I took a quick look at the camera feeds and saw Bonnie the bunny, Chica the chicken, and Foxy the pirate in line on the stage with Freddy Fazbear and his group of animatronic friends, all appearing to be lifeless. However, something about their icy, unblinking eyes gave me chills. As I kept an eye on the animatronics, hours slowly passed. But as the evening wore on, things began to seem off. I saw Bonnie on camera lurking in the shadows of the dining area after he left the stage. I muttered to myself, trying to slow my heartbeat. "Okay, Bonnie, just remain where you are." I was aware of the wandering tendencies of these animatronics, but experiencing it firsthand was another matter. Bonnie slowly moved toward the office, and I wanted him to do so. As the minutes dragged on, the wall clock appeared to be ticking even more slowly. Chica abruptly left the stage as well, but I caught a glimpse of her coming my way on a different camera. I picked up the desk phone and called Mr. Smith as panic began to well up inside me. On the first ring, he responded, his voice filled with nervousness. "Mike, what's going on?" I stumbled over my words. "Bonnie and Chica are on the move." "What do I do?" "It's just a software bug, Mike," Mr. Smith said. "They occasionally experience some sleeplessness at night. Just watch them and use the security doors if they get too close. They get a little restless at night." However, the unease persisted. As I hung up the phone, I only felt marginally more at ease. I changed to the lens that was capturing Foxy's pirate cove. Foxy continued to stand there, peering out from behind the curtain. "You can't hide from us, Mike," a voice whispered in my ear. I jumped up in my chair, my heart pounding. The voice was raspy and mechanical, like the sounds the animatronics made. "Who said that?" I asked, my voice trembling. "You can't hide from us, Mike," the voice repeated, now echoing through the office. I looked at the camera as my heart leaped into my throat. Both Mr. Smith's voice and one of the animatronics were not the source of the voice. I panicked, checking the hallway outside the office, but nothing was there. The animatronics became more hostile as the night wore on. Freddy Fazbear was now hiding in the shadows next to the office door after leaving the stage. I could hear his robotic movements and a tremulous laugh from a distance. Since the battery was getting low and the security doors consumed a lot of power, I knew I had to use them to protect myself. I had to be careful because there was only 15% power left. "Who's there?" I yelled, my voice shaking. No one spoke up, but the laughter increased in volume and reverberated throughout the space. "You can't hide from us, Mike," the voice taunted. I slammed the doors shut and locked it. I gave the cameras one last look and saw Freddy Fazbear's face pressed up against the glass. The power gauge on my flashlight flashed. 5%. The office went completely dark, and I was surrounded by laughter. I sat in the corner and prayed that the night would come to an end. Finally, the time reached 6 o'clock in the morning, and the sun started to rise, with their mechanical motions slowing. The animatron. The allure of Five Nights at Freddy's was undeniable. As a teenager, I was captivated by the game's eerie atmosphere, its jump scares, and its tantalizing mysteries. I spent countless hours immersed in its world, strategizing my way through the night shifts and piecing together the scattered clues that hinted at a darker truth. Among the game's many secrets, one particular rumor intrigued me most: the existence of a hidden level, accessible only through a combination of specific actions within the game. The whispers of this elusive level sent shivers down my spine, fueling my determination to uncover it. One fateful night, nestled in the comfort of my parents' absence, I embarked on a quest to find this hidden level. I meticulously followed every scrap of information I could gather from online forums and obscure YouTube videos, my fingers dancing across the keyboard with an intensity that bordered on obsession. Hours turned into what seemed like an eternity as I tirelessly repeated my actions, testing every possible combination, every obscure strategy. The once familiar game mechanics took on a new dimension, each click and movement a step closer to the elusive secret. As the night wore on, a strange sensation crept over me. The room seemed to grow colder, the shadows deeper, and the silence more oppressive. The game's eerie soundtrack intensified, its notes echoing through my mind like a haunting melody. Suddenly, the game froze. A surge of adrenaline coursed through my veins as the screen flickered and the game restarted, plunging me back into the pizzeria's dimly lit corridors. This time, however, something was different. A subtle shift in the game's atmosphere sent a chill down my spine. The animatronics' movements seemed more fluid, their eyes more menacing. The music box's melody twisted into a discordant tune, its notes echoing with a sinister intent. As I navigated through the night, the game seemed to react to my every move. The animatronics appeared in unexpected places, their movements becoming increasingly erratic and aggressive. The game's difficulty spiked, each challenge testing my nerves and reflexes to their limits. The fear that had been simmering beneath the surface now boiled over. My heart pounded in my chest, my breath coming in short, shallow gasps. The once familiar game environment had transformed into a nightmarish labyrinth, each corner concealing a lurking terror. I fought against the urge to quit, driven by an insatiable curiosity and a sense of morbid fascination. I wanted to see this through, to unravel the mystery that lay hidden within the game's code. As the night progressed, the game's glitches intensified. Doors refused to open, cameras malfunctioned, and the animatronics moved with a speed that defied logic. The game world seemed to be warping around me, reality blurring with the digital realm. Finally, as the clock ticked closer to 6 a.m., I reached the final night. The game's difficulty reached a fever pitch, the animatronics relentlessly pursuing me, their metallic bodies contorted into grotesque shapes. With a surge of adrenaline, I managed to survive the night, the final seconds ticking away in a blur of panicked clicks and frantic mouse movements. The screen flashed white, and a new message appeared. "Congratulations, you have unlocked the hidden level." A wave of relief washed over me, mixed with an unsettling sense of dread. I had achieved my goal, but at what cost? The game's effects on my psyche had been profound, leaving me shaken and unsettled. With a trembling hand, I clicked on the start button, eager to see what the hidden level had in store. The screen flickered, and a new game began. The pizzeria had been transformed into a desolate wasteland, the once vibrant colors replaced by a monochrome palette of grays and blacks. The animatronics were no longer the cartoonish characters I had come to know. They were twisted parodies of themselves, their forms elongated and distorted, their eyes glowing with an eerie red light. As I navigated through this twisted version of the pizzeria, I was assaulted by a cacophony of disturbing sounds, distorted echoes of the game's familiar melodies, maniacal laughter, and the guttural growls of unseen creatures. The game's mechanics had been warped as well. Doors were permanently jammed, cameras provided distorted views, and the animatronics moved with an unnatural agility, their attacks impossible to evade. Panic seized me as I realized that this was no longer just a game. It was a descent into madness, a reflection of the darkness that had festered within me, nurtured by my obsession. I fought for survival, my fingers desperately trying to keep up with the game's relentless pace. But it was futile. The animatronics closed in, their monstrous forms filling the screen. Darkness consumed me, the game's final